Hey everyone, this is Will from Scooteretti. Today I want to show you how to remove the rear wheel from an electric bicycle or traditional bicycle that is equipped with the Shimano Nexus 8-speed internal hub gear. I'm going to use this bike as an example. It's a Gazelle Ultimate C8 electric bicycle equipped with the Gates carbon belt drive. But the process will be very similar between all types of bikes that are equipped with this system. There's no need to fear. I'm going to break it down in very simple steps and show you how easy it is to actually remove it. So let's go ahead and get started. So first thing you're going to need is, if you have a pick, something like this, a small Allen key, something like that, you're also going to need a ratchet with a 15mm socket or a 15mm open-ended wrench. And if you're the techie type and have a torque wrench in your toolbox, you want to have one of these available when we put the bike wheel back into the bike, so that we can properly torque these bolts down to the original manufacturer specs. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is you want to go up to the handlebars and you want to put yourself in position 3 for your gear shifter. What that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to release the cable tensioner nut away from the system in a better position and much easier. So the first thing we're going to do is going to take our pick just below this nut that's situated right here. You're going to see a little black piece that comes out. Sometimes it can be silver, and there is a little hole in this little piece here. You want to gently stick your pick in, or your Allen key of some sort, or hex key, and you want to make sure that you're not pinching the cable when you put this through, because your stainless steel shifter cable is going to be right behind that. So gently just stick it in the hole like so. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring or force your pick downwards like so. So I'm going to rotate downwards, and what you're going to see is you're going to see that your cable, the stainless steel cable for your shifter, is now going to become loose. So what you're going to do is you're just simply just going to work it, wiggle it around, and then you're going to notice that the tensioner is spring-loaded. Once you let it go, it's going to release, and you're going to see this little nut attachment end piece here that goes on the end of your shifter cable. So just keep that aside like so. Just keep it out of the way. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab our 15mm socket, and we're going to put it in the unlock position, or the open. All right, we're going to go ahead and stick that on this nut here. Now, one thing to note is there actually is a washer typically found behind that, and it does have a little tab. So you want to check and see where that tab is actually located. Almost always the tab is facing downwards towards the ground. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to undo this nut. Don't need to go all the way off, because we don't want to have the nut flying off. I'm just going to change hands here. I'm going to hold the wheel up, because now we're removing tension. We just don't want that wheel to drop onto the ground, especially being on a bike lift like so. I'm just going to loosen this nut off enough that it's going to allow me to drop that wheel. So right now I'm holding it up. I'm going to take 2 hands, and I'm simply just going to wiggle the wheel back and forth to free it up a little bit. If you find it still too tight, just go ahead and release those nuts a little bit further. And now I'm going to gently drop it down to the ground. Now what we want to do is we also want to remove the cable housing away from the shifter. So let's do that. Okay, so that's removed. And the next thing we want to do is to gently remove the belt. Now when you're removing belts, make sure you do not twist these belts. They are a carbon filament. We don't want to put any twists, so just be nice and gentle when you remove your belt. And now you have your wheel removed from the bike. Now, changing a tire, changing an inner tube is just like every other bike at this step. So this is how you remove the rear wheel. To put the wheel back in is really easy as well. We're going to do a lot of the reverse steps. So one thing you want to watch out for here, like I mentioned before, we have the washers here with that little tab. Okay, we want to make sure those tabs are pointing downwards. So let's go ahead and get that pointing downwards. I'm going to go ahead, put the wheel back in. I'm going to gently apply the belt back onto the sprocket, making sure that it is on the teeth. Verify the front, make sure that if you were wiggling it, didn't come off the front sprocket either. So now everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up. Now, and this bike is equipped with hydraulic oil disc brakes, so you can see the rotor on this side. When I'm putting the wheel back into place, I just want to make sure that that rotor okay, is going between the two brake pads, because you're going to fight yourself all day long if you get that wrong, and potentially damage those brake pads. So just gently get it up, put it between both of those brake pads. We're going to lift upwards. We're going to also get this cable out of the way here. Lift this up, and I may loosen this up just a hair, like so. And I'm going to get the other side a little bit more loose. Okay, making sure my tabs are straight, and then I'm going to lift all the way up. Now, one trick you can do as well to make sure you're properly seated, because you want to make sure your wheel isn't crooked. You want to make sure you're all the way up on those stays. Is to push up, or if you're not comfortable with that, simply just get the bike in the upright position, and the gravity from the weight of the bike will hold that into the proper stays. So let's go ahead and tighten this up. Okay. So I just want to get this nice and snug. Okay, so that side is snug. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I can also see that I'm nice and straight into those stays where that whole wheel is pushed up tight against the rear stays. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that. Now, like I said, if you have a torque wrench, what we're going to do next is use the torque wrench and set it to 40 Newton meters of torque. If you don't, then what you want to do is you want to take your wrench and tighten it up as tight as possible. Okay, when I say tight as possible, I don't want you to take a big ratchet set and use your foot and push down on it. That's not what I'm talking about when it's tight. It's hand tight and a little bit of extra. So I'm going to go ahead, since I have a torque wrench, I'm going to take my 15mm socket, attach it to my torque wrench. I already have it set to 40 Newton meters at the start of the video. Just become a little bit prepped. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten with my torque wrench until I hear a click. Bam, I heard a click. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Going to keep tightening until I hear that click, or feel it as well. Bam, I just felt it. I'm going to go back and verify this side gently. Don't want to wrench down too tight on it, because then I'll be above 40. Bam, I'm at 40 Newton meters of torque. That is the proper spec. Now I'm going to go ahead, if you remember, we have the shifter cable. And what I want to make sure is I'm inserting it back into the guide, so that metal bracket that is connected to the Shimano system, the Nexus. I'm going to grab my pick. I'm going to insert it back into the hole. And since it's at its minimum resting point, because it's spring loaded, I'm going to drop it down as far as I possibly can. And I'm going to go ahead and insert that nut. And you'll notice that there's a flat spot on that nut, which allows you to go or insert it really, really easily. If you find it too hard or you're not in the right angle, simply just put a little bit more tension on your pick, and you'll notice it fits in quite nicely. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're in the guide. And once you are set up here, just take a quick visual. And you've now reinserted that rear wheel. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. It shows you that you can easily do this yourself at home. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that bell for any notifications. And please subscribe to our channel for some great YouTube content coming up. Thanks for watching. Take care.